Video 1. Maria from Buenos Aires, Argentina.
Hello, Hong Kong. I'm Maria from Buenos Aires in Argentina. Choose Buenos Aires and come sample our culture. Here I am in a tango class. When people think of Argentina, the first thing they think of is tango dancing. The tango has a very rich history. Although it's considered a high-class dance now, it started in lower-class districts in the 19th century. Most of the people who danced it were men, which meant men often danced with other men. Why did they do this? Well, for many men, their wives or girlfriends were in Europe and they came alone to Argentina. So they had to choose between not dancing at all or dancing with men. The second major area of culture in Argentina is, of course, football. And here I am at a Boca Juniors football stadium in one of their hospitality boxes. Now, there are 3 great reasons for you to spend the day at a Boca Juniors hospitality box on a match day. Most important is you can see the game. Of course, you can see football all over the world, but what's extraordinary here is to witness the passion of a football match here in Argentina. The passion. It's like no other place in the world. At the same time, you can enjoy our most famous food, our beef sandwiches. Now, these are no ordinary sandwiches. Our beef sandwiches have won prizes for being the best sandwiches in the world. And finally, as part of your experience, you will personally meet and spend the game with a famous ex-player of Boca Juniors. Of course, it's not unusual for ex-players to meet guests at matches nowadays. But here at Boca, the ex-player will spend time with you and explain as you watch the game. So you will be able to learn from a legendary ex-player as he explains the game to you as it happens. Thanks for listening, Hong Kong, and choose Buenos Aires.
Video 2. Piotr from Krakow, Poland.
Hello, Hong Kong. This is Piotr here, or rather Peter. I'm from Krakow in Poland, and I'm going to show you why you should choose Krakow to be Hong Kong's twin city. First of all, Krakow is great for tourism, and we can share a lot of information with you about how to promote tourism. Let me show you some examples. Krakow was the capital of Poland about 650 years ago, when Poland had kings. Where did the old kings live? Have a look behind me. On the hill is Wawel, or in English, the royal castle. Of course, the royal castle that you see now has changed many times in 650 years. What you see today is very different to what the castle looked like before. For example, 300 years ago there was a huge fire and half the castle was destroyed. Can you imagine? Half of the royal castle destroyed. And 150 years ago the walls were taken down. Why? Well, because the city was expanding and so building material was needed for all the new buildings. And so the walls, which had stood for hundreds of years, were taken down. Now I'm in the main square in Krakow. In the centre of the square, that building you can see is the old central market. Until about 100 years ago, it used to sell mainly clothes. I mean, lots of things of course, but mainly clothes. But what about now? Well, as Krakow attracts millions of tourists a year, the market sells arts and crafts for tourists. It does sell other things, but arts and crafts are the main attraction. And there are lots and lots of restaurants where you can get something to eat, and also bars and cafes to get a drink. The really striking thing is that many of these are underground and under the square. What a good use of the space. The second thing we can offer you is culture. Here I am in a district of Krakow called Nowa Huta, which in English means new factory. As you can see, there are lots of factories here, and they mainly produce steel. But what about culture? Well, this city was built in 1949 by the communist government, and because it was built during that time, it has communist architecture. Tourists, and particularly architecture students from all over the world, actually visit here to see the architecture. Isn't it amazing that ugly buildings are now tourist attractions? I hope that you have enjoyed this video and that you will choose Krakow. Goodbye!
That is the end of Task 3. You now have 1.5 minutes to tidy up your answers.